Hey, I'm Julie. Welcome back to my studio. This is a quick instructional video to teach you my technique for mixing acrylic paints with a palette knife. I don't always mix my paints with a knife, but when I do, it's usually to get a very specific dialed in color that is very thoroughly and evenly mixed, and I'm kind of pre-mixing it for a specific use in my painting. When I'm just painting kind of fluidly, intuitively in the moment, I'm always just mixing with my brush on the palette. But if I know that there's a very specific color I need and I really want a lot of control in mixing that color, I use a palette knife. And the reason for that is that when I'm mixing colors with my brush, there's always little bits of those colors that I'm pulling off and mixing together that kind of get stuck in between the bristles. And so they're like popping out at random times, changing what the color looks like subtly. Most of the time, I don't care about that. That's part of the fun and the unexpected nature of just going for it and painting. And I like that. But sometimes if there's a very specific color, like I'm trying to color match, or I really know what background color this painting needs and I really need to dial it in and get it right, I will use a palette knife so that I have a lot of control over mixing that color. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into what techniques I use for mixing with the palette knife. So say the color I want to make is sort of like a peachy, bubblegummy pink color. So I've got white, red, and yellow here. And I'm going to use my palette knife just sort of like a little spoon. And I'm going to move some of my main color over to my mixing spot. So say we'll put it right there and I'll just tap, kind of drop down some white. And for the largest amount of color, I kind of scoop and use it like a spoon. For the ones that I know are stronger, I'm going to just use the tip of it and like take a little nip. And I can always change and adjust, so I'm going to start small and I'm just going to kind of put down some red. Maybe I want a little bit more. Red is a big part of pink. And then I'm going to take a little nip of yellow and just sort of put it down there. And what I'm going to start thinking about is a square. I'm thinking about mixing my color inside a square. So I don't want my color spreading as I mix because it will become nothing. It will become so spread out. You won't have any paint to work with and it'll start drying out because it spreads so thin. So I think about mixing inside a square and trying to keep my paint in a pile. So as I start to mix, I'm using little downward kind of crescent shape motions. I go different directions, side to side, and I also do little straight strokes that are sort of towards me, just pulling towards me. And I'm just trying to get those colors to mix. And as I see the paint starting to spread out from those sort of little pressing down motions, I use the side of my paint knife and I push and then push down and squish it off the bottom. So I come up from one side and push down. I come from a different direction. And I think about those sides of my little square. I'm trying to keep my paint inside. And then I do some more mixing. I'll try to do it slow here for you. And I think about some more mixing. And then as my paint starts to kind of spread, I go ahead and scrape it. And I'm going kind of up on the edge and then I push down. Up on the edge, then push down. And I'm just trying to contain it within my little square and say, okay, this is not nearly as pink as I want it to be. I'm going to bring in some more red. And then I just start doing my little mixing strokes, my little like half circle strokes. And I'm really just trying to do these small strokes in whatever direction it takes to kind of stir gently. And it's starting to get too big. So this is part of the mixing process too, this scraping it in, because I'm making sure the paint is staying in the middle and everything is gonna end up getting mixed consistently. If one corner starts getting left out of the mixing process, then that's not gonna end up, being part of the mixed color and it's gonna be something different. So now I'm going to go a little faster and just show you like my regular speed for mixing. And sometimes I will use like the whole side and kind of just like really smudge it like that. And then I bring it back together. Okay, so say I want more yellow. So I'm gonna take some more yellow, and maybe I do want a little bit more red. I want this color to be more intense. So I sort of smoosh it into the middle. And as soon as it looks like it's starting to kind of get far away, you know, it's spreading, I bring it back. And I will just do some little side-to-side motions like that. I'm spreading it thin and I can kind of see what's happening through the whole pile of paint. And then I bring it back together with my little box motions here. Now, color will get kind of stuck sometimes, you know, right up against the metal on the bottom and on the top. So I can squish, see, I can have all those like colors that I began mixing with. I can squish and get that off the bottom and then kind of just incorporate them in. There you go. So now we have our lovely peachy pink color, and I've kept it inside this little box. I've kept it from spreading far and wide, and now I have a lovely pile of paint to use in my painting.